Oh, friends, the poor little 1250 is frustrating me. And it's not the tractor's fault, it's everything else's fault. For one, I got freaking donkeys that figure out how to escape. That's also my fault, because I obviously forgot to hook this back when we were getting tractors out. So that has contributed to my problem. But anyway, I'll show you what's frustrating me right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver, man. And I've been wanting to finish that 1250. So, sheet metal is what we were down to. And friends, I spent forever on this sheet metal. I primed it. I sanded it down to get it smooth. I painted the backside. I let that dry yesterday. Today I flipped it over to do the green. I noticed last night some of it was knocked into the dirt. Couldn't figure out what happened. Found some evidence of donkeys. Couldn't figure out where they got out until just now. I see that gate got left unhooked and they figured out how to get out. So this morning I was working just dandy, just painting this, and it looked so pretty. And I was so excited about it. Other than a few mistakes that I made. One of them being me being fat. Now see, I shouldn't have done that because I just made it worse. I'm gonna have to sand that and start over. Sweat dripping off of me. Did that. But that's not the most frustrating one. The most frustrating one was this right here. Right after getting this done, a freaking bird flew over and dropped like little, I don't know what you call that, dandelion fuzz or whatever. And so now I gotta sand this off and start over. And I am not a fan of nature. I am about over these birds. I mean, it's enough to make you want to just forget it, but I can't just do that at this point. So that's great. Nothing is ever perfect. I'm really bummed about this. I should have just left that alone. I don't know. Very frustrating because, yeah. We might just leave that and see if we can sand it out of it. It's actually, that happened on the second coat. It's very frustrating when you're almost done and then stuff happens. I am not a painter. Now, some of you will not be surprised. I can paint really nice. I painted the 1855. I painted the Super 77 all the correct way with the spray gun and the whole works. But I just lose patience because of stuff like this. So I'm to the point in life where I got enough of them. I'm never going to get them all done. So if they just look green, I'm happy. So I don't know. It's just so frustrating. I could have been totally done if it wasn't for nonsense. I think if I let this paint dry more, I can save it. Right now it's still too soft. That's another problem I have. I have no patience. I can't wait. And I should have all the bolts for this because this was actually bolted solid on it. I had test fitted. Another thing that I'm going to have to do is I am going to have to go to the hardware store and buy a bunch more bolts because I don't think I have enough. I dug out my stash of Fiat hardware, but I think I'm pretty well in the in the lacking category right now, because you have to remember every bolt on this is a fine threaded metric bolt. And there's all different variations of said threads. Well, we need to get the box of hardware. And then I guess we need to, I don't know if I have cleaned and tapped all the holes, but that is something that you have to do, because I've learned that on this metric stuff, if you don't, you're going to regret it. So let me go get the metric tap and die set and my box of Fiat bolts. And we'll just see if we can even, you know, continue. All right. Guess I'll put you like that. Hopefully you can see what's going on. I bet, though, that the one I need is the one that's all chipped up. This is the 10 millimeter. I need to get a different one of those. That one has served its purpose just about. It might still work though to just clean out the holes. And I might have already done it on this piece, but it's pretty hot in here again. Don't know why it has to be, but I guess it has to be. I think that the two that hold this down are the next size smaller, so that's good. But there is two on the end of this that should be this size that hold on the side panels. Maybe. Maybe I did this already. Maybe I was thinking ahead and I actually did it, because they feel like they're going very easily. I know this is boring, but this is the kind of stuff you do, because it makes a difference later. You don't have as many struggles. All right, we got enough there that we can, you know, work on getting this back panel on, which has never been on it since I've owned it. It was laying there loose in a pile. Most of the stuff was. So I've never seen this tractor with all the sheet metal on it. I will be interested to do so. Now I need to dig through my tub of sadness here and see if I have the bolts that do that thing. I'm afraid what I'm going to have is stuff that's way too long. I would like consistency is what I'm saying. I don't care if, how do I want to say it? I don't care if it's not exactly what it was supposed to have, but I would like it to be somewhat consistent, where there's not 14 different things. I'm going to have, I might actually make those the ones that do the side panels, because they're an appropriate longness, if that's a word. There's another one. So I'm going to save those for the front. Now we'll get back to hanging. I bet I'm not going to have anything, because here's like what one of the ones would have been originally that went there, and it's so rusty it's not worth reusing. And I've got so many of these tractors now that I've kind of used up my surplus of bolts. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. I'm sure that's one, but it's too long. I'm sure that's one, but it's pretty nasty to the point that it's going to cause us problems if we try to use it. Ooh, also, I need to get some more of these. I don't remember how I think these were like brake caliper bolts or something, but they're what fits in the dash up there. Because we are running thin. Yeah, it's looking like we're going to be in order for a trip to town, because I just do not have the right length of stuff. I've got super duper long ones. What I might do is hang that panel on here and just stick a couple of these in there just so it doesn't fall, and then we'll get the right stuff. I want this sheet metal hanging on here. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it being all over the place. I'm sick of, I don't know. I'm sick of dealing with animals about running it over. Time to go. Well, it's gonna be one of them days. Oh, see, this is the kind of stuff we're going to learn. It's not... Now that'll work. It just sprung. It sprung out. But that will work. It's going to look so snazzy. So snazzy. All right, you got too hot, but hey, we're making some progress here. That's the first time that much sheet metal's been on it since I've owned it. So my homework is I got to get 4 10mm bolts that are fairly short that'll hold the dash on. Then there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 10mm bolts to hold the rest of the sheet metal on. And I just realized I made a boo-boo, which might be okay anyway, of why I have to repaint that. Because I'm pretty sure that this bracket is supposed to be welded to that other piece. So it's probably okay that we're going to have to start all over on it, because it's going to get burned when I weld this on there. Should have paid more attention, I guess, but I was so excited about making progress that, I don't know, it just did not work out for me. But we're farther than we were, so that's okay. I'll get that welded on there and sand that other thing up, and then hopefully we can, you know, finish this project. It really needs some, I don't know, if we want to tackle steering hoses. The steering works excellent. I mean, it's just one finger touch steering. It's excellent power steering. So I hate to disturb it, but hardware is where I'm at. 10 millimeter, and then I'm pretty sure that this is all 8 millimeter. And it's all 1.25 thread pitch, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if this is one of the things I got for the other ones, and that is what it is. But I got to remember where I got them. I got them from an auto parts store in one of those help packages, I think, and they're actually like for brakes. So I'm going to have to go try to acquire 4 of those again, because they're nice and tapered and fit down in the little dash hole there. We're coming though along. It's just a slow uphill battle both ways in the snow. I mean, it just, but if we get the nose done, and then we get, I guess the only things left to do after the nose will be the grill and the headlights, which I haven't started on either one of those. So I've got them all laying here. We'll just have to tackle whatever they need. The grill I got another grill, so I actually have 2 grills for this to try to make one good one or whatever I got to do. But the best one is almost perfect, but it's got a cut chunk out of the bottom. So I'm going to have to see about what kind of stuff I could maybe glue in there to make it not as obvious, and then paint it all clover white before we put it on. The headlights, they are off of I don't know what. I found them on the internet and they're the right kind of headlights, but they're painted a cream color or something, so they're going to have to be painted green and then gone through. And if we want them to work, we're going to have to give them the same treatment that I gave Freddie, which was you got to grind down on a glass bulb until it fits in the housing, and that works about 90% of the time. But what I found is that one, like, it's just shattered sitting here in the shed. I think it finally like released the pressure and that shattered it. You got to watch so you don't weaken it too much is what I'm saying. So that's how she goes. But this little thing was just practically left for dead when I bought it, and I think it's looking pretty snazzy now for what it is. I mean, it's definitely not original in the way that it works now, because I've done a lot of modifications to the engine, but that just shows you that no matter what it is, you can figure out something to make it work. You don't have to be stuck in, if, oh, I can't find exactly what it's supposed to have, what am I going to do? I did this mainly to prove that it could be done. You can find different things that will make her go. I think I will also have to take that air cleaner off again and paint it, because I never did that, I guess. That's fine though. Like I said, we're coming along. It's better than it was. And as long as it feels like progress is being made, I really, really, really want to take this to the fair. Just because it's never, ever been. I mean, I bought it after the fair last year, and there's never been one at the fair. And I think it would be kind of neat. It'd be kind of neat to take this one and Freddy, the 2 sizes of these, 1250 and 1450. last year I took that one. And people didn't know if that was Freddy or what, but it's not, no. Back here, I've been trying to figure out what to do. See, I got one tail light that's original, and I got another new old stock tail light that's original, but it's going to go on Freddy, so that each tractor has one. And then I'm trying to decide what I want to do for lights on the back. And what I think I'm going to do is buy a set of the reproduction, or they're the style of like the front lights with the little brow on them, but they're not made at all the same way. And I think if I put one of them on the fender, I'd have one white light in the back. That's not original the way these tractors were. They would have had two of those tail lights, but those are not to be had, I don't think. So, but anyway, if for functional sake, I want a white light pointed backwards. So that would be on my list of things to do. I doubt that I'll get the lights working before this fair time, because that's a tall order, I think, that I just don't have time for. But if I could get it all put together and the decals stuck on it, I think we would be in business, friends. I guess I have to paint the 3-point hitch. I held off on that because these arms have been cobbled on. Somebody lengthened the arms, is what I'm saying. And I've noticed, my uncle noticed that with his new finish mower, that the American tractor, it doesn't work right, so you need a little bit extra length in the arms, or I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is we're making progress, and I'm hoping that this will be at the fair and people can see it. So we'll see if that happens. But until that time, I think we're going to leave this one here. All right, I lied. We're not going to leave this one here. We're going to do some more. It would be cool if the wildlife could possibly keep from, you know, soiling this immediately. But it is, in fact, a Sunday. And I went to town to get some metric bolts. And that, my friends, is a tall order. If you're going to a big box store, because you just can't find a good selection of metric hardware, you got to get it from the pull-out drawers. It's super expensive, which it kind of is anyway. You got to buy it one piece at a time. And it's going to cost you a lot of dimes, my friends. So we're going to hopefully plug through this enough to get some of this done, so it's not just hanging loose and all over. But I think I do have enough stuff now to make this happen. We'll see how this goes. A lot of this is kind of weird because they use a flat washer on a lot of the metric stuff. They don't use split block washers like we do on a lot of things. And quite honestly, does that really make much difference? Probably not, because I think a lot of times our split block washers bust and then they don't do the thing they're supposed to. So this is really the first official fit up. I think I fitted it together when it, you know, when I first got it, so that I could sort stuff out. The auto parts store, though, did not have that assortment of screws that I need for the dash. So I got some temporary things for today. And I called, well, I called a different auto store that's closer, and I had them order some, and they'll be here tomorrow. But I still feel like I'd rather have it bolted down now, and if I got to switch them later, that's fine. Friends, it is toasty. You would think in the building in the shade it would be a little bit more tolerable, but it is not. It is a toasty mama out here. And if you're big and fat and obese, it makes it very hard to breathe. Makes you not want to be out here. Oh, there's a little bit of a breeze finally. Just a little bit makes a big difference. Alright, I'm mainly doing this because I want to see that everything lines up here when we're done. But we're still going to switch to the correct type of screw before this is all said and done. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying to you, but what I'm saying is those holes are tapered. And it really works nice to have tapered screws to go in. But if we can't, the next best thing is hex bolts and washers. So for today, that's how we're going to roll. I'm also rethinking the White Castle I had for lunch. I don't know. That maybe wasn't a great idea. I think that's going to come back here shortly with a vengeance. Uh-oh. Spaghetti, there's what I was afraid of. The under tension. We don't want this under tension. We want it to do the thing. Come on. Aww. Well, it's being kind of difficult. As sometimes this foreign sheet metal is. Alright, I like what I'm seeing so far. As long as all the holes line up, we'll be in pretty decent shape. One thing that they did, and I think pretty well all of them, that I really like, is they made the sheet metal split around the steering column. So if you have to take stuff loose, you don't have to pull the steering wheel, you know. That's always a pain on, like, other tractors. You want to take the dash loose, well, you can't unless you pull the steering wheel first. And this one, or these, I should say, these little Fiats, it works dandy. You can just do the thing. Oh, we're gonna struggle. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, up till now, I've never even known if all this gauge business is going to fit in there right. I mean, I did some testing, but it's not the same as when you get it finally lined out for real. There, I don't have that one started nice. Well, this is not going great. Let's loosen this back up. I have a feeling that's part of my problem. Oh, we might have it. Nope, do we? Hard to tell. Boy, Boy, it looks like we do. But it doesn't feel like we do. Eventually, peer pressure should work, and it should just go. Well, that's not appropriate. It looks like we were doing the thing correctly. Let's see, is this 8? Let me take that one loose again, because I bet this is what we're trying to figure out here, friends. Oh, I hope this works now. That's too big. There we go. I don't know why this one is not flying ball. The only thing I can think is that I must have not done these 2 holes, because they're on that other panel. And another thing we could have going is somebody else could have jammed something in there that was not the right thread, as people so often do when they don't realize everything's metric, or they realize it and they don't care. And that could be what's messing with it. Now, that ought to go. Come on. There we go. Should we... How is this one going in? Let's just take this one out too. Let's run the tap through that one, because I don't think I did. With these metric bolts, cleaning the holes with a tap is, you just about have to. It makes life so much easier. This fine threaded stuff just does not like to play ball if it's dirty in there. There we go. Now, perhaps, after all of that, all the holes will line up, all the holes will work. Then when we get our Phillips head screws that go in there, actually, they will play ball nicer. There. All right. That is now solidly bolted down. The only thing left that I could do, that I haven't done, and I don't know if I want to do it yet, is to physically bolt this whole thing down as tight as it could go. The only reason I say that is because when I get the front on, I might have to tweak some stuff to get everything just where I want it. Maybe not. Maybe that's stupid. Let's see. All right. So the GoPro, the battery died. I didn't change it, I guess. Before I came out here, didn't realize it. So it's dead. But I got all of that done. That's tight. I got all these holes up here cleaned out. I did realize another thing we're going to have, we're probably going to end up taking that nose on and off several times. I need to get this battery box fixed up better, because there is a bolt brace that's on there. And I think what that is, and I'm not sure, but I think that's the bottom hole for the grill. And it needs to go, I don't know. We'll figure that out later. The next step is going to be welding this back on the nose, which I forgot. And then sanding it and repainting it, getting it bolted on to see what we got. Because like I said, none of this was ever on tightly, I don't believe. When I bought it, it was just all a pile of stuff where somebody else had taken bolts out and just hung the sheet metal, was just sitting on there, the pieces that were there, and the rest of it was in a big pile. So, like I said, this thing just barely missed going to the junkyard. I mean, it was, nobody else would want to tackle this project because nobody else really loves these little things quite as much as I do for whatever reason. So, yeah, I'll do all that stuff and have it ready to go, and then I'm sure we'll have more videos finishing it up, getting it bolted together. I got the grill, the headlights to do. We've got decals to put on when we're done. Just all kinds of little things. We really should probably try to swap that carburetor out, see if that makes it run better. So, projects, friends, projects. I also realized I left it sitting here with the battery on, so hopefully it's not dead. I don't know. Just I don't like to trust tractors when you got several of them crammed in a building together. It would be awfully sad if one of them started fire because of bad wiring or something, and then torched them all. So I try to just shut them all off no matter what. But it's coming along. It's kind of shiny-ish, and that's what we're after. So until next time, we're going to leave this one here.